Celeste was a beautiful, strong girl who loved to sing and dance. Every Friday night was movie night, and we spent wonderful times together. We love her very much, and she always told us that she loved us. We miss her deeply. All we want is justice for Celeste. The Rivas Hernandez family. Released through their attorney. After the arrest, what if I told you that a 14-year-old girl got into an Uber on the night of April 23, 2025? A car ordered for her by a 21-year-old music star with hundreds of millions of streams, and never came home. What if that same music star, whose debut album was dropping in 48 hours, went to a radio interview the very next morning? What if the night before that interview, investigators say he stood in his garage while a 14-year-old girl bled out on his floor and did not call 911 once? What if the Amazon orders started arriving the next day? A shovel, 2 chainsaws, a body bag, a blue inflatable pool, a burn cage, every single one delivered under a fake name to his front door. What if her remains were in the trunk of his Tesla for months, while he went on a world tour and performed on stages across North America and Europe? And what if she was found on September 8, 2025, one day after what would have been her 15th birthday? Stay with me, because today we are going through every detail of what happened to Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez, a 14-year-old girl from Lake Elsinore, California, who loved to sing and dance and had movie nights with her family every single Friday. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why this case is unlike anything this community has ever covered together. Before we go one step further, I need to say something directly to you. I have covered many cases on this channel, cases that kept me up at night, cases that made me question things I thought I understood about people. But this one sits differently, because at the center of this story is a child, a 14-year-old girl who, in a text message to the man investigators say killed her, told him she deserved more than what he was giving her. She said those exact words. She was right. She deserved everything. And I think the reason cases like this one matter, the reason it is important that we cover them fully and carefully, and with her name at the center of every single word, is because it is far too easy for the victim to disappear inside the horror of the allegations, for the story to become about the suspect and the evidence in the courtroom. And Celeste Rivas Hernandez was not a piece of evidence. She was a person. She was somebody's daughter. She was somebody's child. That is where we are starting today. And that is where we are ending. Before we go one single step further, Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez, born September 7, 2010, gone April 23, 2025. 14 years old. Her parents came from El Salvador and built their lives in Lake Elsinore, a working-class city in Riverside County, California. Not a glamorous place, not a place that makes headlines, just a community of families trying to build something good. And in that community, Celeste was exactly the kind of child who makes you believe in everything good about the world. She was bright. She was warm. She was lively in the way that certain children are the kind of presence that fills a room without trying. She loved to sing. She loved to dance. Every Friday night her family had movie night, one of those small, ordinary rituals that becomes the fabric of a childhood, the thing you remember forever. She told her parents she loved them, right up until the last time she could. She was 14 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her. She had plans and dreams, and a family who cherished every moment with her. She deserved a 15th birthday. She deserved a 16th. She deserved to grow up. Celeste, this community sees you. This community holds you. You are not a case file. You are not a headline. You are a daughter, a child, a young girl who told the world she deserved more, and she was absolutely right. This channel will say your name and tell your full story for as long as we are standing. To the Rivas Hernandez family, to the parents who came to this country and built something beautiful and had it taken from them in the most devastating way imaginable, this community stands with you. Your daughter is loved. Your daughter is remembered. Your call for justice will not go unheard. If you feel that, if you want to honor Celeste and her family right now, type Amen in the comments. Let me see this evidence true crime family come together for her before we go one step further. Her name deserves to fill this comment section. And before we go any further, I need to say something to this community directly. If you are new here, welcome. This is Evidence True Crime, and what we do on this channel is simple. We tell the full story, not the surface-level recap, not the 3-minute summary. The complete picture, from the beginning to the verdict, with the victim at the center of every single word. This case is going to continue to develop. The preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 26, 2026. Whatever comes after that, every hearing, every new piece of evidence, every development, we will be right here covering it for this family. So if you want to be in this room when it happens, subscribe right now. Turn on that notification bell, because when the next update breaks in this case, you need to know the moment it does. This community does not miss a single chapter, and neither should you. Drop your location, city and country. I want to see where my Evidence True Crime family is watching from today. And before you hear one single piece of evidence, give me your starting position. Type guilty, not guilty, or unsure for David Anthony Burke right now. We are coming back to this at the end. I promise some of you are going to feel something very different by then. Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez was born on September 7, 2010. She grew up in Lake Elsinore, about 80 miles southeast of Los Angeles, in a home built by parents who had sacrificed everything to give their children something better. By every account from everyone who knew her, Celeste was exactly the kind of young girl that makes you feel hopeful about the world. Bright, warm, full of energy and personality. She loved to sing and dance, not as a performance, but as the natural expression of who she was. She was close with her family in the way that matters most, the quiet, everyday kind of closeness. The movie nights every Friday. The kind of home where you said I love you before you hung up the phone. She told her parents she loved them right up until the last moment she could. Now here is the detail that will stay with you through every section of this video. When her remains were found in September 2025, it was one day after what would have been her 15th birthday. One day. And here is something else. She and David Burke had matching tattoos. She had his name tattooed on her ring finger. Investigators say that is exactly why that finger was removed. But we will get to that. Right now I just need you to hold on to who she was. Because everything that comes next, every piece of evidence, every court filing, every disturbing detail, belongs to her story. And her story began with a girl who loved Fridays, and dancing, and her family. Not with the night she disappeared. Speech balloon. Before we go into the evidence, I want to hear from you. Just one word in the comments that describes what you feel right now, knowing who Celeste was. Not about the case yet, just about her. Drop it right now. To understand what investigators say happened, and why, you have to understand what was at stake for David Anthony Burke. Burke grew up in Texas. He started making music as a teenager. Self-produced. Posted online, and in 2022, one song changed everything for him. Romantic Homicide. Hundreds of millions of streams. Everywhere. TikTok, radio, playlists across every platform. It was genuinely one of those songs that entered the culture so quietly you probably heard it before you ever knew his name. He got signed to a major label, Dark Room, Interscope Records. He performed at major festivals. He landed the Fortnite deal. His song became the first ever official theme for the biggest video game on the planet. Endorsements. Real money. Real momentum. And in 2025, his debut studio album, Withered, was scheduled to drop April 25th. He had a world tour booked. North America. Europe. He was 21 years old with everything a young musician dreams of having. And I need you to hold all of that in your mind as we go forward. Because according to investigators, everything I just described, the album, the tour, the Fortnite deal, the career, the money, is what he was allegedly trying to protect at any cost. Any cost. I also want to note, and this is not irony, this is something darker than irony, the name of the song that made him famous. Romantic Homicide. Hundreds of millions of streams, sitting on everyone's playlist. Once you know what investigators are alleging in this case, that title does not feel like a coincidence. It feels like something else entirely. This situation did not begin in 2025. Not even close. And the further back you go, the more disturbing it becomes. January 2022. Celeste Rivas Hernandez is 11 years old. She joins an online Discord server, an official fan community connected to David Burke. 11 years old. And according to investigators, records from that server show a user identified as Celeste being referred to by other members as Burke's girlfriend. At that time, Burke would have been 17 or 18 years old. Let that sit for a moment. Fast forward to November 2023. Celeste is now 13. Burke is 19. And according to investigators, that is when an alleged sexual relationship began between them. Investigators say they have explicit photographs from Burke's phone. Photographs of Celeste at 13 and 14 years old. That material is classified as child sexual abuse imagery. It will not be shown publicly in court, but investigators say it exists and directly corroborates the alleged relationship. Throughout 2024, Celeste was embedded in Burke's world. Weekends at his Hollywood Hills rental, a trip to Las Vegas, a trip to London, a trip to Texas, where she reportedly met his actual family. People in his circle thought she was around his age. Nobody stopped to ask questions. Or if they did, nothing happened. A 13-year-old girl was traveling internationally with a rising music star, while her parents in Lake Elsinore had no idea where their daughter was. Here is the part of this story that I know is going to sit the hardest with a lot of people. Because there was a moment, more than a year before Celeste died, where law enforcement had David Burke's name, went to his house, and walked away. February 2024. Celeste's family reported her missing to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. She was 13 years old. Her parents had no idea where she was. Investigators traced her phone records and found one number appearing consistently. It belonged to David Burke. They called him. He told them he barely knew her. Met her once. Had no idea she was a minor. LAPD deputies went to his home in West Hollywood that same evening. They knocked on his door. They told him directly, "This girl is 13 years old. She is a runaway. We are looking for her." He said again, he barely knew her. No idea where she was. And then he reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, and showed the deputies a school yearbook photo of Celeste. Saved on his personal device. A school yearbook photo of a girl he claimed to barely know. The deputies noted it. They had no explanation for it. And they left. A few days later, Celeste came home on her own. Her parents took her phone away and cut off her access, trying to do everything in their power to protect their daughter. And here is what investigators say Burke did in response. He drove 80+ miles from Los Angeles down to Lake Elsinore. He went to Celeste's junior high school. He found one of her classmates, another child, and paid that student $1,000 in cash to hand Celeste a brand new phone he had purchased himself, so the two of them could keep talking. Law enforcement had told him directly she was 13 years old, and his response was to pay her classmate to smuggle a phone to her. Deputies went to his door, saw the yearbook photo on his phone, and left. Does what happened at that doorstep change the shape of everything that came after? Tell me honestly in the comments right now. By March 2025, the messages between Celeste and Burke had reached a point of no return. In one exchange, about a month before she died, Celeste sent him a text that stopped investigators cold when they read it. She told him, in her own words, that all they ever did was have sex and hang out. She told him she wanted more than this for herself. A 14-year-old girl, telling a grown man that she deserved more. She was right. She did deserve more. And she deserved to be alive, to go get it. But she had also discovered he had been seeing other women. She was furious. She felt betrayed. She had been led to believe they had a real future together. And by the night of April 22, 2025, the night before she died, they were in a lengthy back-and-forth argument over text. And then Celeste said something that investigators believe changed everything. She threatened him. She said she was going to expose him. She was going to tell the world about their relationship. Everything. Going all the way back to when she was 13. She said she was going to end his career. His album was dropping in 48 hours. He had a world tour booked. He had a Fortnite deal. He had millions of dollars on the line. And a 14-year-old girl who had been with him for years, who knew everything, was telling him she was going to burn it all down. April 23, 2025. 8:40 in the evening. David Burke opened the Uber app on his phone and ordered a car. Not for himself. For Celeste. Picked up from her home in Lake Elsinore. Destination: his Hollywood Hills rental house. A trip of more than 80 miles. She got into that car. She had no reason to think anything was wrong. She was going to see someone she had known for years. Someone she had trusted. Someone she cared about. The Uber dropped her off at approximately 10:10 in the evening. That is the last time Celeste Rivas Hernandez was alive. She got into that car with no reason to believe she was in danger. She trusted him. And tell me, the text she sent him the month before, telling him she deserved more, does that detail change how you feel right now? Drop your honest reaction. The autopsy report, sealed for months and only unsealed in April 2026, confirmed how Celeste died. Multiple penetrating wounds to the torso. One went through her liver. Another damaged her ribs. The medical examiner noted signs of a violent struggle. A knife. She bled out. He did not call 911. He did not take her to a hospital. He did not try to save her. According to investigators, he stood there while she died. At approximately 10:30 that same night, roughly 20 minutes after she arrived, Burke allegedly sent text messages to Celeste's phone. "Where are you? What's going on? Are you here?" Investigators say those messages were calculated and deliberate, designed to make it look as though he had no idea what had happened to her. She was already dead when he sent them. Then he got in his Tesla at around 11:30 that night, drove north on the 101 freeway, headed to a remote area off State Route 154 near Lake Cachuma in Santa Barbara County, 110 miles from his house, in the middle of the night. Investigators believe he went there to begin disposing of evidence. He drove back in the early hours of April 24th, and then he went to a radio interview for his album release. He went to a radio interview the morning after. I need you to sit in that. Type what you feel right now. One word, one sentence, whatever comes up. Because this community's reaction to this moment is something I want to read. Rate it 1 to 5. In the days and weeks after April 23, 2025, a series of deliveries began arriving at Burke's Hollywood Hills home. April 24th, one day after Celeste died, a shovel, ordered from Home Depot through Postmates, delivered to his door. May 1st, 2 chainsaws arrived from Amazon. May 5th, a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable kiddie pool arrived from Amazon. July 7th, a burn cage arrives from Amazon. Every single one of those Amazon orders, the chainsaws, the body bag, the pool, the burn cage, was placed under a fake name, Victoria Mendez. Every package addressed to Victoria Mendez. Every package delivered to Burke's home. According to court documents, Burke placed that blue inflatable pool on the floor of his garage. He put Celeste's body into it, and then he used the chainsaws. When LAPD later executed a search warrant at the Hollywood Hills property, they went into that garage. The pool was still there. Blood tested confirmed it matched Celeste's DNA profile. The pool had multiple long, straight linear cuts in the plastic, consistent with chainsaw use. And then investigators found something that is, in forensic terms, one of the most powerful pieces of physical evidence in this entire case. Tiny blue plastic fragments embedded inside Celeste's remains. Small pieces of blue plastic found in her tissue. The LAPD Forensic Science Division ran a physical fit analysis. Those fragments matched directly to the blue inflatable pool, purchased under the name Victoria Mendez, and delivered to Burke's home in May 2025. And Celeste had his name tattooed on her ring finger. Investigators say Burke cut off her ring finger and her pinky finger on her left hand to remove the tattoo that connected her to him. Those fingers have never been found. By late July 2025, David Burke had been driving around with Celeste's remains in the front trunk of his Tesla since April. 3 months. On July 29th, surveillance cameras captured him parking the Tesla on a street just 400 feet from his house. He left it there and went on tour. The We Tour North America and Europe. He performed on stages. He kept living his life. The car sat in that spot for weeks without moving. Neighbors noticed. Eventually, someone called to have it towed. September 8, 2025. One day after what would have been Celeste's 15th birthday. A manager at the tow yard walked up to the Tesla and knew immediately something was wrong. The smell was overwhelming. Flies were swarming around the front trunk. LAPD was called. They documented what they saw. They got a search warrant. They opened the trunk. Inside, a black body bag covered in insects. Inside the bag, a severely decomposed human head and torso. Beneath the body bag, a plastic garbage bag. Inside that bag, dismembered arms and legs. No ring finger. No pinky finger on the left hand. On September 16th, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner used dental records to make a positive identification. It was Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She had been in that trunk since April. Speech balloon. She was found one day after her 15th birthday. One day. I need this community to stop for a moment. Type Amen for Celeste right now. And then tell me, what is sitting with you the most heavily right now as we go through this case? After Celeste was identified, investigators launched one of the most extensive evidentiary investigations in recent Los Angeles history. Around 54 search warrants filed. They went after Apple, his iCloud account with over 10 terabytes of data, Google, Meta, Instagram, Uber records, Amazon records, Postmates records, Tesla vehicle data, cell tower data, his management team, his booking agents, people in his inner circle, and in a remote area along State Route 154 in Santa Barbara County. The same isolated stretch investigators say Burke drove to multiple times in the middle of the night. A California highway worker doing routine work in January 2026 found something discarded on the side of the road. Celeste's U.S. passport card. On April 16, 2026, almost exactly 1 year to the day after Celeste was last known to be alive, robbery homicide detectives arrested David Anthony Burke at a property on Marmont Avenue in Los Angeles. Held without bail. The charges: first-degree murder with special circumstances, lying in wait, murder for financial gain, murder of a witness, continuous lewd and lascivious acts upon a child under 14, unlawful mutilation of human remains. Special circumstances on a first-degree murder charge means one thing. If convicted, David Burke faces either life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. His attorney stated clearly that the actual evidence will show David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez and was not the cause of her death. David Anthony Burke has pleaded not guilty to all charges and is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. The preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 26, 2026. That is when a judge will determine whether there is sufficient evidence to send this case to trial. This community will be here for every single moment of it. I want to end this the same way I started it. With Celeste. Not with the charges, not with the evidence list, not with the legal strategy or the hearing dates. With a 14-year-old girl from Lake Elsinore, California, who loved to sing and dance, who had movie nights with her family every Friday, who in a text message to the man investigators say killed her, told him she deserved more than what she was getting. She was right. She deserved everything. A future that was entirely her own. A 15th birthday. A 16th. A life full of Fridays. Her family has been patient and dignified through everything. Every hearing. Every delay. Every new revelation entering the public record. And through all of it, their message has never changed. All we want is justice for Celeste. That is all any of us can want for her right now. Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez, this community sees you. This community holds you. You are bright and warm and full of life. You love dancing and singing and Friday nights at home with the people who loved you most. You told the world you deserved more. And you were right in every word of it. To your family, your mother, your father, everyone who has sat through every hearing carrying you with them. This channel is going to stay in this case until justice exists for your daughter. That is our promise. If you carry Celeste with you today, if you want to lift her name one more time in this comment section, type Amen right now. Let me see this evidence true crime family stand for her. Subscribe right now if you are not already with us. Turn on that notification bell. The preliminary hearing is May 26, 2026, and when that day comes, you need to be in the room. Like this video if it made you feel something. Share it with one person, because every share is one more person who knows Celeste's name. And her name deserves to be known. Drop your final verdict and your final reaction in the comments. I will read every single one. God bless every single one of you.